All right, we're out here at Clinton, Illinois. It's August 3rd, Sunday morning. We've had a nice cool spill lately, which could be a good thing. Could mean, gives opportunity for creatures to come out instead of just laying down in the heat. So it's relatively cool. So what's unique about this area, we're on a 9-mile loop here. It's at a lake, and there's grassland, there's forest, and there's a nuclear power plant. So kind of exploring the area, potential for a portal if you believe in that type of stuff, and if you believe in nuclear power plants and the paranormal connection. That's why we're out here exploring, and of course looking for Sasquatch. So let's go. What's cool about this area is Clinton is close to the boyhood home of Loren Coleman, who most of you should know as the godfather of cryptozoology. And that's out in Decatur. Decatur's close to Clinton. And that's, basically where he started out, and he used that as a home base as he was growing up to go explore different Illinois Bigfoot sightings and other cases, Enfield Horror, Big Muddy Monster in Murfreesboro. Well, Loren also had a report of a Bigfoot near Decatur, and he did some investigating and actually got a cast print. And as you can see, it's not really that large. It's around 6 inches or so, but if you look at the toe, it's got kind of like an ape foot, so don't know if the toe is broke, dislocated, or if it just spread that way. So he found this print in a creek near Decatur, and it was in the mud, so that's why it's kind of, the speculate is just like the foot is just spreading. And I don't know what his conclusion was from it. I don't know if he thought it was like a broken foot or not. I'll have to do a little bit more research, but that's kind of neat. Parking lot trailhead is empty. There is a boat ramp nearby, so there could be people at the boat ramp. But I don't believe the trail is occupied, at least not around here. From what I read online, this is considered to be a kind of a moderate hike, even by Illinois standards. Trail's a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, because seeing how it's such a long trail, you wouldn't think it would be very maintained. This area at least is open. Some good views here. I know we're going to go through some grasslands, and here's a power line cut, which, as you know, there's speculation that they use power line cuts to travel. Yes, we have tick spray on. I've decided to wear shorts today because I'm wearing a longer sleeve shirt for just in case, well, mosquitoes for one, and for two, I know we're going to be exposed to the sun. So I didn't really want to cake myself with a bunch of sunscreen and bug spray or whatever. You can see over there, there's the boat ramp way over there. You might be able to see some vehicles. But this trail may put me and cameraman Russ's endurance to the test today. Now Russ is in a little bit better shape than I am. I'm getting there. All these hikes I've been doing all summer. If you followed my channel or any other things, I've been in school and school's out. Should be able to get a few more videos and research videos for you guys this month. The trail is not damp whatsoever. If we find any prints, most likely going to be pretty old or something weighing a lot. Funny, this area is not as dense as, well, at least not around here, as Lake Sandcrest Trail, which was on my last video. This one is, I wouldn't say this is a typical, not so typical Illinois forest at this time of year. You could actually kind of see a little bit. But the canopy is pretty dense, which could possibly cut down on, the undergrowth. All right, after a delay there, having a issue with one of the GoPros. We are in a radioactive area, right? I wish Jason was here with us. He's got a Geiger counter. Do a whoop. Get this party going. Hopefully there's no one out here. Whoop! plan for this weekend was actually to do a nighttime investigation last night, but that kind of fell through. So I said to cameraman Russ, I said, we could do a morning investigation. And he suggested one location closer to Decatur. And I thought, well, let's go out to Clinton if we're going to be that close, because we've been wanting to come out here. Seems like a prime habitat for some high strangeness with the nuclear power plant out here. And being Sunday, most of the weekend campers have cleared out. So there are some older trees out here. This isn't just a relatively new area. It does get a little thicker than normal than it was previously. Lots of insects, not a lot of birds. So we're still next to the power line cut on the left. And then the trail kind of runs along the power line cut. Kind of interesting. Seems like there have been a lot of trees that fall across the trail that have been, removed. I always find it, watch that stump, always find it interesting There's a tree break right there. Doesn't look like anything has fallen on it. Just noting it. I don't know why there would be a tree break right there. Looks like a small, there is a game trail right here. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe a deer rubbed against it and broke it. It's a prime vantage point. Like standing on this trail on this hill, and you can see the power line cut. So, like if there was game down there, predatory animal can use this as kind of a lookout to see game on the trail or in the power line area where like deer would be grazing or other animals. Kind of looking for footprints too. Obviously you're going to see human footprints on the trail. I don't know if we could have picked a better day for a research hike, considering the temperatures are nice. I haven't really seen a problem with bugs yet, and certainly not in this area. Getting into some nettles though. Nettles usually grow in more swampy or wet areas. So maybe I spoke too soon on the mosquito bug thing, but we'll see. So I've been diving a little bit deeper into the old portal subject lately. Not just like a Bigfoot portal, but I'm talking like a high strangeness portal. And the reason I bring that up is because that one area I investigate in Roby. So I go out to Bandy Farm, and he's experiencing what he believes is Bigfoot activity. But I have a friend who lives out there, and her parents, who are I would say they're mostly non-believers, but they're not like deep in the subject by any means. They just make comments every once in a while. They've seen a couple strange creatures out there that are not, the description is not Bigfoot. One is a dog the size of a horse that they've seen crossing the road. They didn't get like details of it. It was up ahead. It wasn't in broad daylight or anything, but they said it looked like a horse walking like a dog across the road. And then my friend's dad also said he saw an ostrich out there, which doesn't make sense, but I don't think it was an ostrich. I just think that he saw something on two legs. He said it ran across the road and hopped a fence, and all he could think of was an ostrich. So, like, what's going on out there? Is there a portal, you know? So that's why I've been getting, and then, and I'm also doing a documentary down in southern Illinois, which southern Illinois is known for a lot of high strangeness. UFOs, Bigfoots. He thinks he has a portal on his property, so I'm doing a documentary on that right now. So, if portals could be possibly using energy sources for, you know, to open and close, or just are rips into fabric at time, what better source than a nuclear power plant and a lake surrounded by a forest? I'm gonna do another whoop. Whoop. I know you can't tell on camera, but there was a really good echo with that one, so that one traveled a bit longer than the other one. Now, according to some researchers, an area that has had a lot of researchers in the past. So if there's been a lot of researchers doing like whoops and tree knocks, if there's any creatures out here, they could be intrigued at first, but the more they hear human whoops, human tree knocks, the more they're going to know that it's not another ape. So I'm hoping there hasn't been a lot of research out here. I actually didn't see any reports directly in this area online. That doesn't mean there's nothing here, because basically you want to look for areas that have a high food source, shelter, coverage, water source, obviously. And this place all has those ingredients. And like I said, not too far from here, there were reports in the past. So that just tells me that they could possibly, be here now. High protein food source with the walnuts. something's obviously been moving through here. Human, could be human, could be deer. The cicadas are very active. Now, all the reports online are saying this trail has some moderate areas, but right now it's been pretty easy. So we must be in an area that, well, like I said, it's a 9-mile loop, so just maybe in the area that doesn't have the moderate elevation increase and decrease so far. It's not super thick, but definitely more undergrowth around this area. You can hear the wind on the treetops, but there's no wind down here in the valley area. Totally digging this trail though. I think this would be a beautiful trail to explore in the fall and the autumn. It's not, and again, it's a really nice day today, so it's very pleasant today as well. I haven't noticed any wildlife tracks on this trail, but again, like I said, it's pretty compact. And dry right now, mostly dry. I see some scuff marks. Looks like boot prints though. I definitely see tread. Here's a scrape. Looks like deer. I see maybe lakeshore up here. It's a little bit of a boggy area. Horse flies are a little bit thicker. Do y'all know what a horse fly is? They're large and they're annoying, and they do bite. Can't zoom in, but there's a large bird down there. in the swamp. He's enjoying the day too. And then the lake's over in that area. I catch a glimpse of it every once in a while. Definitely a lot of walnuts on the trail and other type of nuts, but I was just, again, reiterating that there is a food source. Plants, of course, the lake has a lot of food source. As I mentioned before, there's like a little swamp area just like that. So the inlets would be a prime location for something to possibly gather fish or other things in the water. Frogs, of course. What the hell are those things called? Mollusk or the clam-looking things?
An oyster. Yeah.
Can't think of the name. Mussel. Yeah, so there's mussel is pretty prevalent in Illinois. So there'd be plenty of them along the shoreline here. I'm seeing a really, really neat, unfortunately, I don't think we can get to it, but a huge lily pad area. Fantastic. So that's going to be in more shallow area. What's this, Russ? What am I looking at?
Heron.
You see what I'm talking about? That tube there, or whatever that is?
I have no idea.
It's like a drainage or something, or I don't know what that is. Yeah, you should be able to see that's pretty awesome. It's quiet. Wonder if that heron heard us. Or something else. Maybe those whoops are catching up to us. We just encountered a hiker in the area, which I don't ever consider that a bad thing because it's a lone hiker. He's going out So there's always a possibility he's being followed by something, right? I don't know. He didn't make any noises. Because they say, there's lots of stories of Bigfoot following people, like basically escorting him out of the forest, which if you watch my last video, I kind of feel like that's what happened to me. I'm not saying 100% fact, it's just that I was experiencing things that other people say they experience when they've been chased out of an area. I heard footfalls, kept hearing branches breaking. I had things that sounded like they were being thrown at me. I never saw anything. Once I got to a certain area, I didn't feel like I was being watched anymore either, but you never know. All right, well, here's one of those steep areas, Russ. So we've been in like a lowland area for a while. We're going up a ridge of some type. So far, Russ has not been impressed by the difficulty of the trail. I have to agree with him. Since I'm super unfamiliar with this trail, it's really hard for me to get my bearings on the direction. Like I feel like we're turning away from the lake, but then I look over and I could still see the lake through some, glimpses of it. So like, okay, we're not really turning away from the lake. We're just kind of going parallel along the shoreline. In the warm pocket around here. I made a poll a while back, POLL poll, on the YouTube channel, where I posed the question, do you think Bigfoot is just a natural creature or a supernatural creature? And majority of people thought it was more than just a primate, which I find interesting. I'm not in that camp. I think it's an animal, and I just feel like it's a rare animal, or it's not like a bobcat or a raccoon. There's not as many of them. They're there, but there's not as many of them. That's why it's difficult to find them. But I am out here at a possible portal area, thinking about the possibility that they're moving in and out of the system here, of a hole in the fabric, a rip in the fabric of our dimension. Is that crazy? Probably. Am I trying to convince you that that's the case? No. If you don't believe it in either, I'm certainly not going to, unless I actually film something. But I do believe this is a prime habitat for an undiscovered primate, the North American wood ape. I see a lot of people going to different other people's channels talking about they're just trolling the whole time. Bigfoot doesn't exist. You're insane. You have mental health issues. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you think. I really don't. I'm out here in the woods, enjoying myself, exploring new locations, seeing things that I've never seen before, getting exercise. Dead tree across the trail. Not too thick. Definitely would be something that can be pushed across, pushed down. Interesting. I mean, it is on a downhill slope, so if it's going to fall, it's going to fall downhill. It's super quiet. I don't know if cameraman Russ heard that. Did you hear that?
Camera just went off. It froze as I was walking. It just blanked out and came back.
The front screen, yeah. Switch that one. Somebody's got to be over there. So a couple minutes ago, I heard like some, I don't know, it sounded like something was walking through the forest or something. Now we're hearing some like knocking sounds. It's gotta be a person. I don't know what they're doing. It stopped. Well, I think we're heading that way. So let's see. It's got to be someone. It's got to be someone over there. Trail goes that way. Trail's going that way. We heard knocking and noises from over here. I mean, if you ask me, I would swear there's someone over there that was building something, like a deer blind. I don't know, but I heard like some loud commotion when Russ was behind me, and I don't know if he heard that, but then he came up and I said, "Did you hear that?" Then all of a sudden we start hearing some, what sounds like knocking. To me, it didn't sound like an axe. It could have been, I don't know. And then it just stopped. Why would somebody be in a state recreation area building something? Okay, and the trail doesn't go that way. The trail goes this way. Trying to see if I see any movement. Maybe there's a person over there that saw us and stopped doing what they're doing. Okay. Okay, that was weird. I really thought the trail was going to swing over into that area and that there was going to be a person or something over there doing something, but the trail doesn't go that way. I guess it could have been a woodpecker, but
Why did it stop?
it was very, yeah, why did it stop? And it was actually
Sound like a hammer.
Sounded like a hammer. And then, like I said, I heard a commotion, like a log being dragged through the woods. It was odd. Like, I'm like, what the hell? You know, that's why it was like, did you hear that? So the trail is going this way, but the noise was kind of way over there, kind of like on a different ridge. But maybe sound was carrying. It sounded relatively close. I did not see anything. Woodpecker? Maybe. Didn't sound like a like I've heard woodpeckers. This one sounded more like very loud wood on wood. Rapid succession of tree knocks, as Russ said. And what alerted me to that area in the first place was, like I said, there was sounded like a large animal going through the woods. Wonder if it was a bluff charge. That sounds like a typical bluff charge where you hear something crashing, it stops, you don't see anything, then all of a sudden we hear noise. Well, we're going back that way. I never even considered it as a bluff charge because I never experienced that before. If I had to describe it, it sounded like a large animal coming through the forest. I mean, I've heard deer go through the forest, so I mean, that's what my mind was going to, like, but I mean, thinking about it, it was definitely louder than a deer. And then it stopped. And then we started hearing a succession of tree knocks, what sounded like tree knocks, or someone building something, and then that stopped. Stay frosty. The best part is, Russ, I didn't have the audio going, the external audio. Like, I mean, I know the GoPro is going to pick that up. It's not going to sound as loud as what we heard. Wow. My compass stopped working too. It's funny, Russ, is like before we heard all that noise, I'm pretty sure on camera I said that it got really quiet in the woods. Like, I mean, the cicadas are here, but there was like no bird sounds. So what's interesting now is I do hear a lot more wildlife as far as like birds. It kind of like stopped. We had something going on. Oh, there goes the deer. Didn't catch that. It's interesting how you don't think that there's a lot of ground cover, but there's deer standing right there, and I couldn't see them until we were almost on And if you notice, it was like silent. They were like ninjas in the woods. That's not what I heard run. That was not what I heard before the tree knocks. Heck, I didn't hear anything when I just saw those two. There was 2 deer running. I'll tell you what, if I really did get a bluff charge, I'm not freaked out about it because I'm not smart enough to know if it was a bluff charge or not. X structure near the area where we had a loud wood knocking and possible bluff charge. Now, I'm not a big X structure believer. Got quiet again. Yeah, we're near the tree break area.
Seconds after I filmed that, you heard the noise. 10 seconds after that, we heard the tree knocks.
If I had pants on, I'd walk over there. I know that's not going to pick up on camera audio, but I just heard something that it was like a woo. It almost sounded like a bird, but nothing that I've heard before. All right, so we got about a mile left to go on the trail. We're just gonna hike out. This was like kind of an exploratory day. We're never been out here, trying to see if, you know, what the terrain's like, if there's even possibility something's out here. That's some weird activity. I don't know what that was. I'm looking forward to reviewing the footage, seeing, you know, trying to figure out if the audio, how well the audio picked up on there. But we're definitely going to be out here again. Even, I mean, we barely touched on the loop itself. We've only been in a couple miles. Pretty interesting area. Great trail. But yeah, we'll see you again soon, and hopefully we'll get more activity out here in the future. Till then,